This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy.
What's good, gang? No, I'm kidding. Hello, Homo sapiens, and welcome back to a new video. So I haven't made a video in this style in like 2 months. I'm gonna be late to everything, so let's just get into it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So let's talk about the 2024 debate. I had a live stream where I reacted to it, and it was chaotic. It resulted in Joe Biden dropping out, which we are going to talk about later. But it was insane. Trump was rambling, but that's usual Trump. But he was actually saying normal things. Meanwhile, Biden was just going fucking insane. Bro, I can't. Oh my. I'm just gonna show you some clips from the live stream and then, you know, tell me your thoughts later, I guess.
Great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president.
You just said it though.
Brandon.
Why does Biden look so shocked though? Bro, now he's staring down again. He looks like he's filled with meth. I can't even lie. He just looks really off. Bro, why are you getting freaky in my chat? Guys, this is not about getting freaky, gang. This is about watching CNN themselves. Aren't you the one providing them with the weapons, though? Like, you're acting like you can't stop the war in Gaza in 3 seconds, bro. You're still president, dog. Just stop sending them the guns. Oh yeah, Trump is laughing. Let's go. 2 different people. This guy smiles. This guy is happy, joyful. This guy is sad and depressed. They have not been greatly weakened, bro. They're still bombing Israel. F you on about. We're gonna talk about Joe Biden dropping out. So Joe Biden dropped out like a month ago, I think, and it was kind of insane. It came out of nowhere, but it was to be expected. The entire basically Democratic Party was going against him. They wanted to get rid of him. Republicans were saying this guy needs to drop out. He is a joke. Imagine if he wins the election, it'll be a fucking joke for the country. Everyone was basically saying we need to get rid of him. So he actually did drop out. So we're just gonna look at the initial announcement that was posted on X. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation and lowering prescription drug costs for seniors and in expanding affordable healthcare to a record number of Americans. So he's basically just yapping about his achievements. I kind of don't care about that shit because they're not actual achievements. Like, America has always been the strongest economy in the world ever since World War II. So like, that's not really an achievement of his because that's how it's been for a while. Historic investments in rebuilding the nation. The nation is not rebuilt. Gas prices went up, inflation went up. It was not the best. The drug cost thing, that stuff was made by the Trump administration. He kind of just stole that. Trump passed that law and he said, I did it, guys. It's my job. I did the affordable healthcare shit. The Trump shooting was insane. He survived. You know, that bullet almost hit his brain, but it slightly hit his ear. It was all mismanaged, and people are wondering, you know, who is the shooter? The shooter apparently was in a BlackRock commercial. It's a bit scary. It's a bit confusing. Like, was someone else involved in this? Was he a lone gunman? He has donated $15 to Act Blue, the Democratic organization, but he was also registered as a Republican. So the media is now trying to spin this narrative that actually the shooter was a Republican when in reality, he was probably a lifelong Democrat because Democrats have in the past previously registered as Republicans to sabotage the Republican Party, right? They'll pick a really shitty candidate, the most undesirable candidate, because they want the Republicans, you know, to fail the next election. They want their party to succeed. It's sabotage. I'm sure Republicans have done the same for Democrats. It's not a good thing, but that's basically my thoughts. The Trump shooter was a Democrat. He was radicalized because, as you can see, the media constantly kept saying that Trump is a Nazi, that Trump is Hitler, all of this shit. So he got radicalized. You know, he saw all this stuff that the media was saying about Trump, and he was like, I'm gonna stop the next threat to democracy. I'm gonna save the world. When in reality, he didn't fucking save the world. He was just an insane guy. RNC 2024, that also happened. Trump had a speech. The porn star slash I don't know what to call her, Amber Rose, had a speech, and I'm conflicted on it. You know, being you know, a fucking star in those movies conflicts with conservative ideology because you're promoting, you know, indecency. You're promoting someone who's immoral, and I don't support that. But her speech was nice. Maybe she'll convert. Maybe she'll be better. I don't know. I don't really want to speak on that. It was strange, you know, for the Republican National Convention, and you saw people saying, you know, we need everyone to hop on that Trump train. Choo choo choo. We need to invite everyone we can, but at the same time, we need to get people who actually support Trump's policies. You know, not people who are immoral and go against what Trump is saying himself. Let's just go over the vice presidential picks. So we're going to first talk about Trump's, and then we're going to talk about Kamala's. So Trump's vice presidential pick was J.D. Vance. Now, in my previous video talking about the vice presidential picks, I predicted that it was not going to be Vivek Ramaswamy. Everyone wanted it to be Vivek, but it was just impossible. I don't think Trump was going to let someone like Vivek be the vice presidential nominee. Let's just face it, Trump is, you know, a media man. He wants to be a star. And if he has another star in the way, he's going to feel like, you know, he's not the president anymore. Like, he's actually just a sideshow to Vivek or whatever. So he picked J.D. Vance. I was thinking it could have been Tim Scott, but whatever. It was J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is interesting, I'd say. The left is trying to spin this narrative that J.D. Vance the couch. It's obviously a lie, but it's, you know, it's a rumor, right? They're trying to stir this rumor up and say that J.D. Vance is such a weirdo. J.D. Vance is strange, blah, blah, blah. But I think he's a good man. He served in the army in the Iraq War. There's been some interesting clips of J.D. Vance. He said some cool things on stage. You know, he was previously a Trump hater in 2016. He was like super anti-Trump, like, I fucking hate this guy. He's Hitler. He's a Nazi. He's saying what the left says. But now he's switched. You know, it's been 8 years since that. People are still trying to bring up this, like, say that he in 2016 was so anti-Trump. How is he pro-Trump now? But people change. It's been like 8 years. Now we're going to talk about Kamala's vice presidential pick, which was, as I said earlier, Tim Walz. And Tim Walz is kind of a weirdo. There's this rumor going around to combat the couch fucking one, where people are basically saying that Tim Walz drank a gallon of horse semen, which is really weird. Tim Walz, again, he's apparently a veteran, but he doesn't have as much service as J.D. Vance, so I don't see why the Democrats are campaigning on that. Kamala and her team are basically saying he's such a hero for the country. I don't know what we would have done without him, but again, is he really? But he does not have comparable service to J.D. Vance, so it just seems like a weak point. You're trying to compare your candidate to the other candidate, you know. But Trump's pick served. Tim Walz, he served, but he never held an assault weapon. He didn't have a gun roll. It's weird then when Tim Walz talks about trying to ban guns when he doesn't have service relating to guns. So anyway, we're gonna talk about Kamala Harris again, because I want to just show off some points why she's a weirdo, why I don't like her, why I support Trump more. The main point is that she's a platonic liar, basically. So there's this article from Playboy. Playboy magazine did an interview with Martin Luther King in the 1960s, and I'm gonna just let an AI read this because I
kind of don't feel like saying this myself.
I will never forget a moment in Birmingham when a white policeman accosted a little Negro girl, 7 or 8 years old, who was walking into a demonstration with her mother. "What do you want?" the policeman asked gruffly, and then the little girl looked him straight in the eye and answered,
Freedom.
"No." She couldn't even pronounce it, but she knew. It was beautiful. Many times I have been in sorely trying situations. The memory of that little one has come into my mind, and has buoyed me.
Anyway, so you have that little interview snippet, right? You memorized it, you know it. Okay, so this is Kamala Harris. She said basically the same thing as Martin Luther King multiple times on interview, acting like this is a part of her childhood.
There you go. And then my mother would tell a funny story about how, like, one day and I was fussing, and you know, and so I'm fussing and fussing. It's much cuter when she would tell the story, but she'd say, so then she would look down at me and, Kamala, what do you want? What do you want? And I looked back up at her and I said, freedom. And she said, Kamala, what do you want? And I said, freedom.
No.
Or this is something she experienced when in reality, no, it's just stolen. It's a stolen story that she's trying to claim as her own. Next, I want to look at Kamala Harris's gaffes and funny moments, because just like Joe Biden, she is a bit demented. You know, people are saying that Trump is now the demented one, not Kamala Harris, because Kamala is so young and Trump is so old. He's a stinky old guy. But here are some gaffes that I want to show you where she says some really respectful things, and it shows that she is comparable to Biden himself.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country.
And thank you, guys. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers.
She, her, and her. Mine too.
All right.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context.
This is just an extraordinary testament to the importance of having a president who understands the power of diplomacy and understands the strength that rests in understanding the significance of diplomacy.
Now, I want to show you the poly market polls, the actual polls. I want to look at this. In the last few days, the polls have drastically changed. The political bettors have changed who they're thinking is going to win the election. So, we're just going to look at this. So, we're going to just look at the graph, I guess. I just want to check it out a bit. So, it's dropped insanely. Trump was in the lead, 70% in the lead, basically. And now he's fallen a bit. He's going up again, though, which is what I noticed. I think it could go up from the interview he did with Elon, or he's about to do. In my time, at least. He's about to do it in 5 hours. When you're watching this, he probably already did it. So anyway, this is what the bettors are saying, you know, people who betted like 50 cents or whatever to decide what's going to happen. We're going to look at some polls from this X account called Interactive Polls, which looks at the polls themselves. So this is from about like a week ago. It was 50% Harris to 48% Trump, which is in the margin of error. The margin of error, in my opinion, is anywhere from 1 to 3% is, it could be an error, it could be falsely calculated. It has to be more than that for the poll to, you know, be deemed a certain way. And if we look at these polls, you know, there's obviously some states that Kamala is going to win, like Wisconsin. You know, I don't think Trump is going to win it. It's unlikely. Right now, it's 51% Harris for Wisconsin to 42% Trump. The national poll from Redfield Wilton is Trump 44% to Harris 47%, which is, again, could be the margin of error. You don't know yet. We don't know yet. Again, North Carolina poll 46-46. They're tied. Again, margin of error, you know, we don't know yet. We're gonna look further down. This is the electoral map from Trafalgar and Insider Advantage. 297 electoral votes for Trump, 241 for Harris. You know, I want to say confidently that one's going to win, but I can't right now because you have some maps that show Kamala getting, you know, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, all these states, you know, Georgia, North Carolina. You have the ones that do the exact opposite. They're basically two different maps because these are all undecided swing states. They're like 2%, 3%. They're 2%, 3% lead of Kamala or Trump. We don't exactly know who's going to win. So let's end this off. Kamala Harris is a joke. You know, I don't get how people can support her. You have all these gaps. She picked a weirdo for her vice presidency. You know, he's a little weird with those horses. You know, it's hard to explain this to someone who's like super leftist. Like they'll say that Kamala Harris is such an angel, that Kamala Harris can do no wrong, but Trump is this like rapist or something. But you gotta understand that Kamala Harris has built her entire career basically off of one man. Willie Brown was a very important politician in the Democratic, you know, party, I'd say, in California. And Kamala Harris, she got promoted by him because the two of them, you know, probably did something. I can't really say it. They were together for like a year or two. So her entire career comes from him. She has no skills of her own. She got promoted by him, like got like 3 promotions from this one guy, you know, and then she somehow got vice presidency, even though she was like super anti-Biden, like she hated the guy. But Biden decided, what if I just make her my vice president, you know? It'll be like a cool love story. Like I make my biggest hater my vice president. That's kind of what happened. You know, Kamala Harris came out of nowhere. She has no political experience. Her entire political career comes from that one situation. Trump is the same. He also has political inexperience, but the difference with Trump, I'd say, is that people know he's inexperienced. Trump's entire, you know, goal with the 2016 election was that I'm just gonna be an outsider who's gonna step into the ring. But Kamala Harris was trying to be a political figure her entire life, but failed. And that's the contrast, the stark contrast. Trump is someone who didn't understand politics. Now he does. Now he's one of the biggest leaders in the Republican Party in the United States. While Kamala Harris, she really wanted to be a political leader. Now she's, you know, gonna be the president maybe. But it's because of inexperience. She has no skill. She has a lot of gaffes. She's a little funny. She's a little weird. You know, coconut, you know, coconut go to the polls. So that's kind of it.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?